Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm broadcasting a little bit earlier today because I have some other engagements I'd like to attend this afternoon. I'd like to welcome you to the War Report, the real voice of Military City, U.S.A. I'm here to tell you that there's a lot of things going on in this city that most people don't talk about, or we don't even know. I mean, to this day, look down at the AT&T Center and ask yourself what's going on there. You don't know, because the only way we can find out is to go over there and look up on the wall or the billboard and see what's coming up at the AT&T Center. I mean, there is no means of us receiving the information we need to conduct our business in this city. We don't have an FM radio station. No, we have I think it's 97.1 at Trinity University, but that's a jazz station and it's not open to giving you all these public service announcements. So what we want to do in San Antonio is try and get us a radio station. That's very difficult to do. I went down to City Hall just past Thursday to see what the new councils are discussing. So we found out that the council was concerned about they call a special meeting, and they were concerned about what happened over the winter when all these people lost their lives and lost their power due to a neglected power grid. They only came up with some whitewash suggestions. You know, it's so sad that every time they do something, they bring in the big CEOs. They brought in the CEO of CPS, and she was standing up there just hobnogging and talking, but never saying anything about what is she going to do to fix the damn problem. There was no answers to what are you going to do to fix this problem. And then at the end of the day, they get through. You did such a wonderful job of handling your people and dispatching your people out to the community. A bunch of bull crap. That's all they do down there is bring these big head of department heads up and lie like they done such a damn great job. If they're doing a damn great job, why are we without power? We're talking about CPS now. Same with, let me tell you, look up the salary of the CPS CEO. I can tell you what it is. $489,000. That's a grip there. Plus bonuses. That ain't nothing compared to SAWS. The CEO of SAWS is at like $590,000 a year plus bonuses. That's a lot of damn money coming out of our pockets going to two people. Two people. That's it. That's unbelievable. That's what they make. Same thing with the SAWS CEO. He got up there, and all the council people, oh, you done such a great job during this crisis we had with the power out and the water froze. You did such a great job preparing this, doing repairing that. Another damn lie. People were without water here. That's why they were giving away thousands and thousands of cases of water. Sometimes we think about whether we should have took that COVID shot or not. If you took the shot, I mean, more power to you. You should have took it. But there's little bitty things coming out about these shots. The last thing I heard was that there's a problem that calls something like pericarditis, which is an inflammation of the sac around the heart. Now, if you have pericarditis, you have an inflamed heart, and it's a result of one of those COVID shots. And what did they say about that? They said that even though it causes in very few people pericarditis or some type of heart ailment with the heart around the heart sac, it's okay. More people have been walked away or stayed away from COVID than not. Then people got sick overtaking this shot. So we're going to continue to administer the shot. But they don't say that but one time on the news. And then they're done. So I'm just saying, if you're going to take the shot, if you took the shot, you need to do as much research on that shot as you can, because there's some things that you're not being told, especially about that pericarditis issue. They only said it one time on the news. And speaking of the news, there was I was listening to a show this morning on CNN. The commentator had a guest on there, and the guest kept saying Biden this, Biden that, Biden this, and Biden that. But on the same token, when they talked about his opposition a year or two ago, Trump, the same lady was saying President Trump. You see what I'm saying here? They still trying to pull some bull crap on the American people by saying President Trump and Biden. They don't want to acknowledge that President Biden is the president. They still playing this bull crap that Trump is the president. He's not. Now what is he going to El Paso following the vice president down there for? To start some more bull crap. He is not the president. He is not the president. President Biden is our president right now. And if Trump would have won, he would have been president. But these news people are full of crap too. They're going out there instigating bull crap. They're instigating things for you to listen to, but you got to catch up on these little things that they do. They full of shit too. I'm just going to say it. They are full of crap. Discipline. Discipline, by not having discipline, it'll get you killed. How do black people establish discipline in their lives? Oh, we don't spank our kids. I don't know who came up with that idea, but look at what has happened because we don't spank our kids. Now, everybody can raise a child without spanking them sometimes. People can do it sometimes. But for the most part, you got some little badass kids out here that need their butt tanned. And if that's the case, parents have to make a decision to discipline their kids. Sending them to the corner, time out, all this is all good. All of this is good. We have to keep doing it. We have to keep trying to raise our kids for this society, because this society is not going to be easy on them. And we got to stop putting our kids out the house at 18 because they're not adults at 18. They need to be in the house at least until they're 25 so they can establish savings, they can establish a career, they can finish college, and they can figure out what they want to do in this society. Because if we don't start to take care, get our kids a little more mature before we turn them out to the wolves, they're going to keep getting ate up. like they're doing right now, and they're going to be down there in the Bexar County Jail. Keep your kids at home for some extra years. They're not adults at 18 years old. Single mothers got to stop hating on dads. Not all single mothers do that, but some do. You know, I had that situation a long time ago. But my daughter and myself are the closest right now. So you have to be able to get past the bull crap and get to living life the right way. If you went, watched TV over the last week, Monday was the Texas Cavaliers River Parade. And I was watching that parade, you know, and I was surprised to see there were quite a few black people riding around on those boats. Those boats that came down the river. There was even somebody sitting across the way in the dais. So that's a blessing to see black people participating in some things here in San Antonio, more than just the church. I have no issues with the church whatsoever. I'm glad most people are members of churches, but that is not the first thing you need to ask everybody. What church do you go to? I mean, you can be a Christian without having a fellowship membership. But I'm going to stop right there on Christianity. Racism. We have made a lot of progress in this city. A lot of progress in this city, but there's still things that we got to do. We are more segregated than we've ever been in this country. Black people go to black churches. White people go to white churches. You might see a couple of whites in our churches, and you're going to see a couple of blacks in the white churches. But that's about it. You know, one of my favorites is Pastor Hagen. I like him. But that's just mine. But we are more segregated than ever. Why is it that they came up with busing? Now, if you think back when slavery was going on, if the mother had a child, they would take that child and give it to the next plantation. And they would split that family up so fast that they didn't even know who their brothers and sisters were. The term mother effer came from slavery because they had studs and they would put the bags over their heads so they wouldn't know who they were having sex with. And by that, some of the mothers who bore children that grew up on that plantation ended up having intercourse with their mother. And that's where the term mother effer came from slavery, and how they did us in slavery. They broke us up then. I couldn't find my lineage if I paid somebody $1 million to. I can go back a few maybe 100 years. But what about before that? You know, this DNA stuff that everybody's doing, oh, you from this region. This region can be 1 million square miles. It could be 1,000 different tribes in that region if you're talking black. But you don't know. And I say it every week that every race, every single race got a lineage, hundreds of years in the making or have been made, except for us, the African or the black American. We don't have that. So what do you say? Just forget about the past and pick up where you are and move forward. How you going to forget about what has been done to the people, to the black people? You can't. That's always going to be first and foremost in my mind because it's true. It happened. You did this. But the state of Texas just passed a law saying you can't make white kids feel bad. So I wonder what did they do when Juneteenth came about. You know, they make Juneteenth a national holiday. And then at the same time, Texas drops a law telling the teachers that they cannot teach slavery or what happened during that time. Because if they do, you can be prosecuted and you'll be fired from school. Ain't that something? So the federal government thinks that giving us a Juneteenth holiday, we all running around, oh yeah man, we got a holiday. We just doing what we do. Celebrating over something that we didn't even need. But it's a pleasure, it's a good thing that we have the Juneteenth holiday. However, there are more pressing issues that need to be dealt with. Now, why has the Emmett Till anti-lynching bill been postponed for over 200 times? Why is the George Floyd bill not being passed in Congress or in the state of Texas? Nowhere has it been passed and voted on and turned into law. It has not been done. Out of all the hundreds and hundreds of, well, I might even say thousands of black people that have been murdered in this country, we can't get a single bill passed that looks out for our welfare. But yet, 5 or 6 Chinese get knocked across the head, and then all of a sudden they got a bill into a law quickly, in less than a month. Again, they're showing us how they feel about us. And when Marcus Garvey tried to take us back to Africa, they didn't want us to go. They just keep saying that. Go back to Africa. But when we try to go back to Africa, you screw us over again by selling Marcus Garvey a raggedy ass boat. Couldn't even get out the harbor on the boat. That's what they did. They didn't want us to leave because they had free labor. They're not going to let people get out of here. They want you to be quiet, shut up, and do what you're told, and don't ask no damn questions. As long as you do that, you can make it in America. The moment you raise your head up and ask a question, oh, you are up for the Negro now. You trying to get above your pay grade. You damn right. I want to be on your pay grade. It's a bad situation that we have to deal with where we are not liked or not respected by any race. Even the Africans that live in this country know, don't act like black people because the police will treat you bad. Make sure they know that you are African and not black. Ain't that some shit? African but not black. That's what they think. You got black people from Panama, black people from Jamaica. They tell these black people to maintain your culture and your character when you come to the United States, which is nothing wrong with that. But when they tell them that, they're telling them on the other hand not to be black. Don't act black, because if you do, you're gonna get towed up. Because America does not like black people. America don't want to see black people succeed. Everywhere you go, you're going to see a token black person, but you're not going to see blacks running things. You ask yourself, how many black CEOs of multi-million-dollar companies are in San Antonio? 2. The SARS or CPS CPO is a black lady. Why does she make less than the SARS CEO, who's a Hispanic? If you're going to put them there, you better pay them right. You ain't paying her right. They had a black CEO of Boeing when I was down there. Like I said, we're more segregated than ever. And busing gave us the same thing that the slave owners did when they was breaking up our families. Busing broke up our families and our neighborhoods by busing our kids somewhere else as if they're going to get a better education, and all they did was got bused to these other schools and got put in the damn corner or put in detention and lost everything. They don't know shit now because they did not get trained by getting busing. But the premise was you're going to get bused to a better school and you're going to learn more. Bull crap. You ain't going to learn nothing. Our kids have been put in these schools and put under situations where they won't learn anything. Black kids are being funneled out of that classroom, down to detention, down to the Bexar County Jail. That's what's happening. And we act like it's okay. I mean, we don't know what to do, but we ain't trying to do nothing because we're not unified. How hard is it to unify black people? You know, I've been talking about going down to City Hall for at least a month, and the only person went with me was Keith Tony. Got nothing but respect for that brother. He and I sit there and observe what that city council was doing. So all I'm saying is black men must unify. Black men must unify, and if they don't unify, we're going to continue to get doo-dooed on. I couldn't think of a better word. I didn't want to say the other word. So the only thing we can do, we don't want to get doo-dooed on. So we got to unify black men. We got to come together. We meet here at 10 o'clock on the Thursday, every Thursday, 10 o'clock in the morning, to go down to City Hall as a group and limit the amount of cars we need to take down there, paying for parking. So I'm asking black men to unify. They know you. They know who you are. They know if you are an optimist. They know if you're a pacifist. They know if you are a malignant narcissist. That's something I learned this week. A malignant narcissist. That's a bad, bad dude. Sad dude, too. They know who we are. They know we are disunited. And they know that we don't work together. And it's so easy for them to manipulate a black man, a black leader, into doing what they want him to do. And if they can't manipulate the black leader into doing what they want them to do, guess what, Medgar Evers? Guess what, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King? Guess what, Malcolm X? Who's after that? You gotta understand something. This is not a game. This is the reality of who you are and how you exist in a country and a society. You're existing as if you're invisible, which they want you to be invisible. You got to stand out somewhere. And you know, I was going back over something in my past. I've fought since I was 10 years in the military. I was fighting people. When I was back in the 90s, I wrote Thad Cochran, my congressman, and told him they wouldn't let me come out of Bosnia. And they wouldn't. And I was working for a civilian agency over there as a military soldier. When I talked to Thad Cochran, I sent him letters. Within a week, he responded and said, I'm going to take care of this for you. And he got a hold to my supervisors at the organization I work with. And the next thing I know, I was on a first class flight back to Europe, back to Germany. Bosnia is in Europe. So they had to send me back to Germany through Budapest. So that was one of my first major fights. But then throughout the military, I had 5 Article 15. I still graduated or retired with as a master sergeant, EA, first sergeant. I still was able to get my bachelor's degree and my master's degree. And with those 5 Article 15s, they were all racially motivated. I had a captain tell me, Sergeant Smith, put some tires on my Jeep. And I said, no problem, sir. I will put the tires on your Jeep as long as your driver brings me the Jeep up here to put them on and help me. GD Sergeant Smith, I don't want to hear that. He went off on me, and I told him, he said, you better put them tires on my Jeep. So he eventually said, I said, no problem, sir, 3 bags full. As long as you send me your driver. He was pissed. I got an Article 15 for that. Other Article 15s for walking off the job, you know, covering up bumper numbers on vehicles, all kind of different disciplinary little things that I was really pissed off about being in the Army and working with all these people. They even hid my promotion for 6 months, and the only way I found out, they would have kept it hid if I hadn't went and found out about it over at the Milpo where they keep all your military records and files. I asked to see my file, and I saw my promotion orders in there, and they were 6 months old. Because what that did, that promotion that I had, made me the youngest E6 in the company. Now, I'm over white guys who are 10, 20 years older than me. This was back in the 80s. Sad story. They couldn't stand me. Because I was an unapologetically black man and would not be discriminated against or treated unfairly. I told the captain one time, you can do what you want to do to me because I got white mechanics that work for me. Shit rolls downhill. They didn't do much to me. Left there, did the same thing at Boeing. A Venezuelan boss of mine tapped me in the chest. You're going to do what I tell you, my friend. I feel threatened. Got his ass suspended a few weeks. But he got me in the long term. I ended up getting caught up in the layoff at Boeing. Same thing at the VA. VA does not like veterans. And I'm going to say that every time I say something. They do not like veterans. These civilians that run and work and live and offer the money of the VA, they don't like veterans, especially if you're a smart black man. I sit back and work. I worked in Austin at the Automation Center, and not a hospital, and I seen them destroy 7 black men, and I was next. And the one black man that they didn't mess with was the one from the islands. They didn't touch him. But they went through all the black men and got him up out of there. We had a GS-15 black man working in there, and they busted him down to a 13. Other people, they fired him. A captain who was a contract specialist, no, he was a major in the Army and retired, and he was a contract specialist down there. They fired him. When they started looking at me, they started taking my contracts and giving them to the little young white boys so they can finish the contract and get credit for it, when I done did all the damn labor putting it together. That's what they did. This place, this country is not fair to black people. And the more people stand up and say that, the more people we're going to get to listen. We got to tell people about what's happening here in America. And you got to let somebody know if you're being discriminated against. You can't. They can. This is a right to work state, so they can fire you at will. But you may not need that job. God may not want you there. They take advantage of us because we don't want to say nothing. You gotta open your mouth. Closed mouths don't get fed. And when I say get fed, get paid for what you need to do. I found out that a white counterpart of mine who did not have a bachelor's degree, and I had one, was making $10,000 more than me, and he was working on the third shift where he had 6 people working for him, and I'm on the second shift with 25 people. Why is he making $10,000 more than me? So I took it up the chain, and then my director slid me a piece of paper showing me that I've gotten a $10,000 raise. Like I'm supposed to say, oh, thank you, sir, thank you, sir. I looked at him like, that all? He hated me after that. I wanted a $15,000 raise. I'm not going to sit back and try to be equal. If they're going to treat, they're going to have to treat us better, because we've been treated worse for so long. It's time for us to be treated better. And then we're not going to get treated better unless we demand it. You got to demand it. They always tell us, let's forget about the past. All that was back then. We can't forget what happened to our ancestors. We're standing on the shoulders of our ancestors, being able to do what I'm doing here, being able to do what you're doing, and making the money you're making right now. Don't forget where you come from. Police have handled our neighborhoods as if we are a threat to them. So they come over here on the east side automatically juiced up, ready to put somebody in jail. Because they already know this is our enemy territory. When we ride the streets over here, let me see something out of place, I'm going to pull you over, tell you to get out the car, and I'm going to shoot you if you mess up. Why in San Antonio did 2 people jump from a damn overpass running from the police? Jump! You see how high these overpasses are. The last couple of weeks, 2 people jumped from the overpasses to avoid the police. They already know what's going on. People are afraid. People are afraid. Thank you, Mr. Kevin. I appreciate the comment. People are afraid to confront. You're going to have to confront, or you're going to keep getting slapped in the back of the head. 2 people. Cocaine bust, crack bust. Cocaine bust is the same thing. Coke and crack, same thing. Crack is just cooked. Cocaine is raw powder. Who uses the cocaine? White people. Black people too. Same with crack. But when you look at the disparities in who's arrested and how they are charged, you're going to find more people with crack in the black community than cocaine, because it's more profitable. Make more money. That's what the dealers do. You make more money on crack than you do cocaine, but you still sell cocaine if you're selling crack. The laws will give, let's say you got an ounce, I don't know how to read this stuff, but if you got an ounce of cocaine and you got an ounce of crack, the person with the ounce of crack will be severely sentenced versus the person with the cocaine will be slapped on the wrist. This is what's written in the law. Cocaine has less punishment than crack. Now we act like we are, well, we know that. Why do we know that? because black people are the ones who deal with crack the most. They're the ones who get the longest penitentiary sentences due to the war on drugs. The war on drugs. There's a big sentence disparity, and it started with Bill Clinton. It started with Bill Clinton. Let me just get a piece of paper. Chauvinot received 22.5 years for the murder of George Floyd. But see, that's not all. That was a state prosecution. Now he's facing federal prosecution. Federal prosecution for civil rights violations. So they ain't done with him. He ain't gonna make it out of prison. But think about this. In 100 years, only 10 officers, 10, have been prosecuted for shooting black people. Hundreds of black people have been shot and killed by the police. But over a 100-year period, only 10 have been prosecuted. That's sad. With 10 officers being prosecuted when there are hundreds of officers out there shooting black people, that's a damn atrocity. And that's because of our city government, and because we don't like politics, and because we stay away from the police, because we don't want to be no policemen. In order for you to make a change here in America, you're going to have to get involved. You're going to have to get into politics. You're going to have to get into the law enforcement. You're going to have to get into your city governments. Because you cannot make a change standing out here talking about it. And that's what we do all the damn time, is huddle up and fuss about what they doing to us. You're going to have to do something. You got to do something. Do what you want, but do something. In 1776, on the 4th of July, that's when they formed this country. So let's move forward a little less than 100 years, about 85 years, to 1865, when they issued the Emancipation Proclamation. So what it boils down to, in 1776, everybody that signed that Declaration of Independence had slaves. And what did they say? We the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice and tranquility. It don't apply to you, black man. You were still a slave. Your ancestors were. So if you read that preamble today, it's going to tell you the same thing that it said back in 1776 when you were a slave. So that means it does not apply to you. 1776 ain't got a damn thing to do with a black American. But yet, we all celebrate. I've celebrated it every single year. Barbecuing and celebrating when we should be strategizing. I keep saying strategizing. We need to start strategizing. Something's got to give. We need reparations. I mean, in 1867, that's when on June 19th, that's when they went down and freed the slaves in Texas. 2 years after. The state of Texas need to be paying reparations to the descendants of slaves that are residents of Texas, or can show lineage that they were in Texas when they got freed down in Galveston. The state of Texas should be paying reparations to those descendants. And like the country should be paying reparations to everybody. If you're driving around out here, you're going to have to be careful because people are shooting you in your car from their car. They're banishing weapons at you. You better be careful if you cut somebody off because that person might follow you home and shoot up your family and everything else. So don't be out there thinking that because you're behind the wheel, you're a badass. Because you're not. You're not. Be careful because they're out there killing people. Road rage is something that people experience because they're frustrated with life. They're mad at everybody. And the only thing you need to do is cut them off and tick them off, and they're going to get you. You got to watch yourself out here in America. You got to watch yourself with the police. You know, you got to comply when they ask you to do something because they can call an army on you. And they do it all the damn time. How do you get 10 police cars on one black man being held on the ground? How do you do that? I don't know, but that's what you do. Next show for the War Report will be done on YouTube. And it will be uploaded to Facebook from YouTube. So you can also go to the broadcast of the War Report. It's something like that. I'll get the name straight soon. I know it's broadcast War Report. Those three words should get it pulled up on YouTube. I've been here at Casa de Smitty's going on 6-7 years. We've had a lot of people come through here, thousands of people, and I appreciate your support, your patronage, and your help to move this Smitty's forward. We got some really good things in store for this place, some good entertainment coming in. I mean, if you notice, since we done came off the COVID-19 pandemic, everybody and their mama got a show going on. Everybody got a show. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody got to catch up because everybody lost money during that time. So people want to try and get their money back. And I don't blame them. That's the name of the game. But on Thursdays at 10 o'clock, I'm asking you to meet us here at Casa de Smitty's, 1850 East Houston Street, so we can go down to City Hall and just observe. And we may get something out of it, we may not. But the point is, we need to make a presence known where black men are united. Black men have to unite. I would love to start an organization called the Black Coalition of Men, and that would be a great name in my mind for us to use on this trip down to City Hall. You need to suit up, dress up, and get ready. But thanks on behalf of Casa de Smitty's. I'm going to cut the program. I want to thank you for listening, and I really hope that you come back and hear what we have to say, because every week we're trying to bring some new information to you, but that radio station is a must. And I don't see how we're going to do it, because everybody I talk to, oh, you need $1 million. You need $6 or $7 million. That's all I hear. 6 or 7 million. But we don't have that kind of money, but the city of San Antonio does. And they should be concerned enough to want to get us a radio station so we can be informed. because we're not informed right now. We are not informed. We have black people all over this city. And we have black people that don't even think black anymore. They don't think black anymore because they haven't been exposed to their cultures lately. So if you one of those people that's not thinking black, I highly, strongly advise you to come on back. Come on back. Come on back to black. All right, that's Kasade Smitty's and the War Report, the real voice of Military City, USA, signing off.